In the upcoming movie,
Wait, this is my favorite song. They just played it. That was my favorite song.
Will you stop it? Okay, we'll play it for you later. We'll try to get it for you in CD form, okay? You can play it again and again.
Is that Ricky Martin?
No, that's not Ricky.
Oh,
that's
darn
the
it.
Today Show Orchestra. Anyway, may I start again now?
Sure.
In the upcoming movie, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Jim Carrey stars as a beloved curmudgeon with a heart that's 2 sizes too small.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel.
You're as cuddly as a cactus, and as charming as a eel, Mr. Grinch.
You're a bad banana with a greasy black peel.
Greasy red peel. He's sick of the Who's and their holiday cheer. He plans to rob Whoville of all they hold dear. Disguised as Santa, he plots to take off in his sleigh and stop Christmas from coming that very next day.
Wow.
But instead, of course, we know he learns a very important lesson about the true meaning of Christmas. Jim Carrey, Mr. Grinch, good morning. How are you?
Great to see you.
It's great to see you, too.
Wonderful to finally meet you.
Well, thank you very much. Now, I know that you have said...
You're kind of like Madonna to me.
Stop it.
I don't know. It's just something. You're just there. You're always there.
Okay, well, good. Okay, now let's get back to the movie, shall we? You have said that you always fantasized about playing the Grinch. It was sort of a dream come true. Is this something that you sort of thought about or you read about in childhood? Did you love Dr. Seuss's?
First of all, I don't think. I'm all instinct.
Oh my God!
Pure instinct. You know, from this big, I mean, you know, the Grinch was the coolest thing in the world. First I saw, you know, I read the books, and then, you know, I drew a lot of pictures when I was a kid. So, you know, the drawings themselves just completely sucked me in. I loved them, and they're so original. And that's what's great about being a part of this, is that you kind of, you know, I just want to attach myself to other people's genius. That's what I want to do.
Well, you've got genius of your own, because you are so remarkable in this movie. And before we talk about what a great job I think you did playing the Grinch, you met Dr. Seuss's widow, Audrey Geisel, right?
Geisel, yes.
And she obviously is very proprietary, appropriately proprietary about her husband's work.
Incredible. All over the set. Wouldn't leave me alone.
No, come on,
Tap
that's
me
not
on the
true.
Shoulder. No, not like that. I did.
No, but you met her before the movie started, and you kind of had to audition for her, didn't you?
Well, I didn't audition for her. Andy Kaufman did an impression of Jim Carrey doing the Grinch, which was, because I wasn't around. I had no zip code at that time.
But you did meet with her, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah.
And,
it was
what
great.
was that like? Was it a little bit nerve-wracking?
Not really.
No?
You know, I'm just kind of a, you know, headlong into things type of person. So, you know, I figure if I screw up, I'm a scatter bomber. You know what I mean? I just go out there and I spew, and, you know, see what happens.
Now, this has a backstory. I was talking with these guys a little bit earlier with Alan.
Al is really fun to listen to, by the way, when the feed is on in the dressing room and there's no, you know, when you actually go to commercial or something like that, but you don't see anything, you just see the weather map, and you hear Al out there in the street going like, hey, don't touch me, get off, hey, what, not there, hey, get your hands off the mic, I swear to God, I'll hit you. It's hilarious.
No, that was our little secret, Jim.
Oh, really?
But now the world knows.
Oh, sorry to show all the rough edges
But
here.
I was talking to them earlier, as I was saying, this is very hard.
I don't care where you're from.
And I was telling them, in this movie, you get a backstory. The Grinch has the abuse excuse, basically.
Yeah,
and
there you
that
go.
accounts for his very gnarly personality, right?
He's a callous. You know, it's like a lot of us. We build, you know, these days we build up a callus against the world. You know, we get hurt a few times, and then it's just like this callus starts to build.
But
you
he
know,
had a very
he needs to be scraped.
He had a very traumatic childhood, though, that we really don't know about in the book.
Right.
He was dropped from the sky and kind of abused in school because he did look different, and after all, he had a beard when he was in second grade, right?
Right.
So I'm not going to give away the story, but there's a reason that he's so grouchy.
Yeah, he steals Christmas. There it is. Don't have to go now.
Yes, you do. All right, let's talk about how you got into the role. Before we do that, though, let me show a clip, because then it's easier to kind of show people what you did.
Show the clips.
All right.
I'm so tired
now,
of
as
speaking.
you know, the Grinch is a pretty high-tech fellow.
Election thing. Let's not talk about the movie, because people are into it.
Yeah.
They want to hear more and more and more and
Even
more
from
and more.
you,
and
what do
more
you
and
think
more.
of it?
Garbush, 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 garbush. I think there's not enough of it on the airwaves. I can't get enough of it, man.
Are
I
you
just want to.
serious?
Let's cut to Florida. Quick, cut to Florida. 130,359.
There's Miami.
Gore.
130,336. Bush. Oh, hold on, wait. Hey, get out of the light!
It's a mess, isn't it? Are you interested in what's going on?
I love messes, though. I thrive on messes. Messes are good for me. Anything that isn't normal is fine with me. I mean, I think, you know, I'm just waiting around. Doesn't matter because, you know, a couple of months ago, we didn't care who we voted for anyway. It was like we're like sitting here fighting over two guys we don't really want.
All right. Thank you, Mr.
It's like,
Carrey.
yeah, we won!
All right.
We won.
Let me go back to the clip of your movie.
Sure.
And in this movie,
Let's talk about important stuff.
The Grinch is even more high-tech than he was back in the 1950s when the book came out.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at him checking his messages on his answering machine.
Any calls?
You have no messages?
Odd. Better check the outgoing. If you utter so much as one syllable, I'll hunt you down and gut you like a fish. If you'd like to fax me, press the star key. Oh, well. That's more like it.
That was a lot of fun doing that.
I bet it was.
Yeah. See,
thought
they didn't have that whole thing sliding into the chair when I got there.
Uh-huh.
I
Did
just
you
was
come
like
up with
had a
that?
couple of coffees and went,
I was going to ask you,
slide into the chair from the ceiling.
how much of this is the writers and how much input? I mean, you must have had enormous input.
All me.
No, because seriously, because there is Jim Carrey just all over this movie. Like when you'd say, "Oh, the humanity," and
Yeah.
you would make these little jokes about what's the deal.
Well,
And
you know, it's the kind of thing where I just can't leave things alone. You know, I find it really difficult to, like Shakespeare would be tough for me because I have to stay in a groove. You know, you got
Yeah.
to do the iambic pentameter, and that's what they're doing down there right now in Florida. You have to stick with it. You know, I like getting in the space and finding new things and exploring. So yeah, there was a script there and it was really good and everything was great and it would have been fine. But you get in the space and suddenly I think to myself, well, there's the dog. He's just sitting there. So I, got a flash of something that we've all
Brilliance.
done. Well, yes, really. Something we've all done with our pets at some point is try to outsmart them. You know what I mean? And like take some kind of infantile pleasure in the fact that we're smarter than a dog. Like throw the fake stick. Like.
but you have to
Really
be
got 'em
careful
there.
because you didn't want to overwhelm the story too much. So I guess in some cases, did you feel like, oh, this would be really funny, but I should hold back, or did they ever say, Jim, that was funny, but relax?
Yeah, they just,
Or did they let you go crazy?
They just tune up the Ritalin dose.
Ever so
And
slightly.
down and up and down and up and down.
All right, I have to
now,
ask you-
Ron's there. Ron's a great captain.
Yeah.
He knows the overall picture, and
Did he say don't hold back, or did he say, hey, hold back a little?
he was completely open to me just going crazy, but within the parameters of the story, it's got to make sense.
We're almost out of time, but I have to ask
No,
you about
come
the makeup.
on.
I know.
This sucks.
I know.
No.
Anyway, look.
I came a long way.
The makeup was a nightmare. But I have to say, what was so extraordinary about the makeup is, despite the fact that you were just covered, your eyeballs or your, whatever, the white part, what's that called?
The goo.
The goo is yellow. You have two sets of teeth there working. You need
Yeah.
those whitening strips, by the way.
Yeah, right.
Not in real life. But I mean, at the same time, Jim, you could really show your facial expressions during the movie.
Yeah.
So how are they able to kind of balance that out?
Well, Rick Baker's an amazing guy. He made it possible for the character to show without while making cracks in the makeup, certain grooves in the makeup, or making the makeup thin enough that it would really work. Isn't this fascinating?
It was a nightmare, though, sitting through the makeup, though. I mean, how
It was
long did it take you to
unbelievable.
get made up every day?
It was 3 hours, but it wasn't just the 3 hours. It's the contacts in your eyes and all that stuff. It was very uncomfortable, but at the same time, you're doing the Grinch, and the Grinch was an icon to me growing up. It's just as
So it was
important
worth
as Santa
every
Claus
minute
to me.
in that makeup chair.
Absolutely.
Well, I thought the Grinch was great, and you were terrific
Thanks.
as always. Jim
Thanks.
Carrey, great to meet you.
Good
I'm
to
sorry
see you,
we're out of
Katie.
time, but we are.
No
But you can
problem.
stick around.
Are you
if
sad
want, just
about
talk
it?
with
I'm
me.
so sad about
Me
it.
too.
I
Well,
need
you
a
can just
hug.
stay. Okay. 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 Thank you. Okay. Anyway, the Grinch Who Stole Christmas opens this Friday.
Gore wins.
And we're back in a moment, but first. This is Today on NBC. Thanks, Jim. That's all right.
Thank you. I have no sense of professionalism.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.